All right, this demonstration is how to pull a handle using water. Potters usually use this so that their handles have the same fluid look that their pots do, that they've made on the wheel. We've hand built our mugs, so there's also another demo that shows you how to hand build a mug, but I thought it'd be fun to show you how to pull a handle rather. Okay, so you want a bucket of water, a nice big piece of clay that you've made into a cone, a tall cone, thick at one end, thin at the other, and I get a good grip on it, and then I'm going to smooth out the cone using water. I make my hand into like a circle, and now it's nice and smooth, but it's gigantic, right? Way too big. So I'm going to keep on doing that with the notion, or the idea, with the intention, I should say, of getting this even more tapered and getting this thing longer. That's why it's called pulling a handle. We're pulling it out of the major piece of clay. And when I get to the point where I think it's kind of in the realm of the right size, then I'm going to flatten it into a ribbon. So I keep pressing on the same side. I'm no longer using a circle. I'm kind of making a flat shape with my hand. That negative space in there, get my thumb out of the way, it's a flat shape. And I pull and pull. Now it's really getting ribbon-like. It's really starting to feel like a handle. That feels good. I'm going to run my thumb down the middle of it, like so. It's hard to do toward the camera. Running my thumb down the middle so it makes a little impression. And then I'm going to put it on the edge of the table, arch it, and press. And it's going to sit there and stiffen up a little bit. I made this one a minute ago. It's way too short. So that's how you pull a handle. I will be back with showing you how to attach it. All right, I'm ready to attach my handles. I've already started one. You see a finished mug right here. I've got the rest of my handles waiting. Here's my mug. I've got a total of 3. You're making a pair. I went on to a third one. So the important thing is to figure out where this handle is going to go. So I've got a little motif on the front. On one side, my birds. And then on the other side, I ended up making a little horizon line. I put a little boat. So that when you're drinking your tea or coffee, there's a little feature on each side. And so I think that I'm going to put the handle, I'll put the handle, there's the front. I think I'm going to put the handle right here. So it's important to pick where you want to put it. And then I'm going to score. I'm going to score right just about a ½ inch from the top, maybe even a little less, about the size of a quarter. And I'm going to apply some slurry to that, get it gooey, and I like to chew it up again just to be sure that it's a little too much. It's going to grab the handle. Set your mug down, go to your handles. I've made extra because sometimes when you pull a handle and you go to put it on, it doesn't work out. And it's a pain in the neck to have to go back to pulling handles. Now I'm like ready to apply. I don't want to go back to wedging clay and pulling handles. I want just to move forward, so I made extras. All right, I'm going to pull this one off from the table. I'm going to set it down on its side, like so, picturing the mug, the side of the mug being right here. Like I'm looking at this negative space on the table to decide where I want to cut. This is way too thick up here, so I'm going to cut back, and I'm going to cut a slight arch. I kind of went like this, because when I pick it up, it's going to go like that, right? It's going to fit, it's going to curve. This curve is going to fit right in there. The mug is round, so the cut is round. It just works better. All right, I've scored that. I'm going to put a little slurry on that as well. Get it wet. Chew it up again. You really want a good connection here or your handles crack. All right. So I hold it like so. All right, I'm holding it, gently holding it with my two hands, my two fingers, my thumb and my forefinger on either side. Pick up the mug and let gravity help you, right? So turn it so that gravity is helping you put that handle on. And then before I go much further, I'm going to take this arch. I'm just going to put it like that. This way this doesn't get in my way. I don't muck it up, and it keeps its round shape. Now I'm going to go in and really push that on. I'm giving it a little twist, so all those, all that needle tool scoring, that chopped up clay kind of grips itself and each other, right? You want it to mesh in, so I'm giving a little, and then you gently wipe around the edge of your mug, of your handle, trying to get rid of any gaps. So I'm pulling a little clay down from the handle onto the mug. The mistake some students make is that they pull so much down that their handles get this skinny little neck in here. So you want to be careful just to pull enough. This is definitely a skill. Pulling handles and applying them takes a while to get really good at. So don't be intimidated. Just like anything else in ceramics, it takes practice. It's a lot like throwing. It takes a lot of practice. Okay, that's pretty well attached. So I'm going to release the bottom, and I'm actually going to hang it again over the bucket and re-wet it like I was pulling it again. And that's to get any fingerprint marks off of it and to get it really fluid again. And then I'll go back to bending it, and I'm going to look and see where I want it to go. And I realized that because I have this extra bit of clay on here from the landscape that I added, I'm going to just take some of that away. So that relief or that raised landscape, I'm going to remove some of it. And that's probably not, this is probably not going to apply to your piece unless you did exactly the same kind of thing. You put a textured thing on the bottom. So now I've made a little, move it into the camera. See that little crevice? That's where that's going to go. Line up the handle. And by the way, you want to look at it this way, but you also want to turn and look at it this way because it's easy to put it off crooked, right? So I look at the profile and then I look at it straight on and make sure it's straight. And then you just push and rip off the bottom. Push and rip off the bottom. I'll give it a little extra press, clean up the bottom. And there's a little stress crack right at the top. There's a little stress crack, so I got to go back in. Right, that pulling it started to pull the handle away from the mug, even though I'd attached it. So I'm going back in and wiping it back in, making sure I don't muck up the rest of the handle. And then I like to add a little thumb holder, a little place for your thumb when you're drinking, right? See that thumb thing? Yeah. It does two things. It strengthens the connection of the handle to the mug, because I score and slurry this on here, and it like locks the handle on. And it also makes it nice for when you drink. You have a little leverage. You put your thumb on that, and then and that's easy to make. You take a little piece of clay, and you make a little ball. And then I like to set it down on a piece of paper, because if I set it, it's pretty gooey. If I set it here and pull, it's going to stick. So I wet my thumb a little bit. I put it on a piece of paper, press and pull back, and then it lifts off the paper nicely. That's going to go beautifully right there. I'm going to score here and score here. It's pretty gooey right now, but I'll add a tiny bit of slurry to this so that it's sticky. Put it in place, support the handle from below, and then I push that on there. Don't want to overdo it. Don't overwork it. Once you get it on, leave it, because you want it to look fresh. All right. So now I have my handle. Right? I have my handle. And it's on there nicely, and it looks very professional. Okay, that's how you do it. Have fun.